Well, it's that time again to throw in some awesome Japanese wrestling shows such as Big Japan Pro Wrestling and, of course, the continuation of Road to the New Beginning. And also, we're going to talk about the latest news that came out from AEW regarding the AEW Women's World Championship Eliminator involving Japanese wrestlers. So, all of that will be reviewed, discussed about on this episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up. 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 Get up, get up.
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling from AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, championships. I'm your host J-Rod here. So let's begin with this review by Big Japan Pro Wrestling. This took place on the 11th of January in Korakuen Hall. Now, I'm a little behind on what's going on in the wrestling Japanese world, but I'll do the best I can to catch up for all of you. The first match, it was a tag team. First team, we have the Astronauts, consistent of Fuminori Abe, Takuya Nomura, taking on Akira Hito and Kusuke Sato. Now, I am familiarized with the Astronauts. I've seen the Astronauts on All Japan Pro Wrestling not too long ago, since the start of the year. Very impressive team, to be honest with you. But, however, the other team, I'm not highly familiarized because you got to remember, Big Japan Pro Wrestling is not a major promotion in Japan. It's an independent Japanese wrestling promotion, and it's all death matches. But, however, this match was just a straight up wrestling match, no death matches. But it was good. However, I did enjoy the submission that it was applied by Takuya Nomura. And it was very awesome how he picked up the victory for his team. Next match we have is a 6-man tag team match. We have Daichi Ashimoto, Hideyoshi Kamitani, and Ryota Hamna. Ryota Hamna is someone who I'm familiarized. I've seen him on maybe once or twice in Big Japan Pro Wrestling from previous reviews. They set up the team against Daisuke Sekimoto, who I've seen on DDT, Kasumi Kikuta, and Ryuichi Kawakami. Now, however, if you guys must know who this guy, Ryota Hamna, is. He's this huge dude. He is the most likely person that they have to eliminate before anything else. But, however, Sekimoto, Kikuta, and Kawakami actually were able to pick up the victory despite the fact that there was a huge dude in the opposite side of them. Next match. This one was another straight up tag team match, but also it sort of became like a memorial type of a match. First team, Abudala, Kobayashi, and Minoru Fujita. Now, Kobayashi, I am familiarized with him. I've seen him on maybe a few occasions in Big Japan. Very impressive wrestler. And they set to take on Great Kojika and Yuichi Taniguchi. Now, this match was more of an honor of a fallen comrade, a friend who's also in the wrestling business. It was really good. I did like it, especially Great Kojika. He's an older wrestler. I didn't think how this was going to happen. Even guys his age, they can still wrestle. Even impressive. I think it was Sammy Guevara who interviewed him one time in his vlog. Like, talked to him. Like, he misinterpreted his question about what he thinks about wrestling today. And he misinterpreted thinking about his wrestling, how he wrestled. But he was telling him how he viewed wrestling today as it evolved from the time he was young all the way to now. So it's great to see that guy. So It was a really good match, but however, it was Great Kajika and what's his name? Taniguchi that actually won this match. Now the next match is a weapons bring with death match. Basically, in a standard death match, they always leave around the weapons and toys or whatever around the ring, outside the ring, under the ring, however it is. But however, the wrestlers brought the weapons to the ring. First team we have Ishikawa, Toniyuki Sakuda taking on Roji Ito and Yuko Miyamoto. So basically, one of them brought this crazy toy where it's boarded up with this thing where they have one of those saw blades, and they placed it on top of one of them, and it was like so insane. But he whacked him with the kendo stick that pushed that little scar. I'm like, ugh. It was so nuts. I didn't expect that, but it was so crazy. But I am kind of curious what else these guys could do. But however, there had to be a winner. That winner was Ito and Miyamoto that won the match. It kind of went fast for me on this one. Next match, we have a standard regular match tag team. Yuji Kobayashi and Shigehiro Iri, who I'm familiarized with both men. Yuji was a champion in this promotion, but he lost the title to I forgot who it was. But as for Shigehiro, I have seen him on, I've seen him on various in the promotions like DDT, All Japan, and Pro Wrestling Zero. But it's great to see him in Big Japan Pro Wrestling. He's normally been operating in the independents or anywhere in the world, but great guy taking on who's their opponents? Yasufumi Nakanoe and Yuya Aoki. So basically, it was a straight up match, but however, I kind of already figured it was going to be Kobayashi and Shigehiro to win their match because they're two of the most power hitter dudes in the wrestling business, especially Kobayashi, who was a champion, and as for Shigehiro, who's been around the world for a couple years. So I figured he won. The next match is for the BJW Junior Heavyweight Championship between challenger Kazuki Hashimoto versus Isami Kodaka. Now, I am familiarized with Isami Kodaka. He is also the owner of Pro Wrestling Bizarra, which is another hardcore or deathmatch type of promotion. There used to be the sister company of DDT until they decided to break away from DDT and do their own thing. So, but it's great to see Kodaka wrestling. It was a good match. This one was no death match, straight up wrestling match for the championship. It was really good. But however, it was Isami Kodaka who won the match and retained his title as the BJW Junior Heavyweight Champion. However, he was about to do a little promo, but he was attacked from behind from someone. I don't know who it was. There is, unlike New Japan or Pro Wrestling Noah or Dragon Gate, there is no subtitles or translation. But it went well for me. I kind of went, okay, it's not too much of a bigger deal, but it was great. So I enjoyed it, but we'll see what happens. In the final match is the fluorescent light tubes and alpha death match. Now, you ask yourself, what is the fluorescent light tubes? Is those tubes that they use in the lighting? They use those as weapons. The entire match is all about that. And why did they call it an alpha death match? Can't they just call it a death match? Well, they're easy as that. If it's a death match, it's either a one-on-one, but it's an alpha death match is a tag team match. It doesn't matter if it's a 2-on-2 or a 6-man or 8-man. That's how it works for them. But that's one of those matches it's going to be hardcore. First competitors we have Drew Parker, who I've seen many times, Kankuro Hashino, and Masaya Takahashi, taking on Masashi Takeda, Kakumi Tsukamoto, and their surprise partner, all the way from Mexico, Violent Jack. So basically, I was surprised to see Violent Jack. Dude is a legend in the hardcore world in Mexico, not to mention his involvement with DTU, which means Disaster Total Ultraviolenta, which means Disaster Total Ultraviolent. Basically, they're hardcore too. But it was great to see him. And of course, with him being in this match, he actually helped win his team for this particular death match. So it was Takeda, Tsukamoto, and Violent Jack that won the match. So I think that's it now for Big Japan Pro Wrestling. So let's move on with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Okay, so we still continue on with New Japan Pro Wrestling's The Road to the New Beginning. So as you know, the next one will be on the 10th and 11th of February in Hiroshima. So let's get started with this one. Now, the last few events with The Road to New Beginning, it only lasted 4 matches. But however, this one is 5. Just to reiterate all of you guys to ensure so there'll be no confusion. Now, the first match, we have Yuya Uemura and Yota Tsuji, the Young Lions, taking on fellow Young Lion competitor Gabriel Kidd, who teamed up with Ryusuke Taguchi. Now, as you know, if you watched or not, there seems like there's a bit of a rivalry between Kidd and Yota Tsuji, two of the strongest competitors within the Young Lions. But however, this time it was weird because Taguchi was teamed with Yuya Uemura the previous time, but however, he's in the opposite side. But it was Taguchi that win the match for his team. But however, how long would this rivalry between both Gabriel and Kidd and Yota Tsuji will go on? I don't know. Yota Tsuji is the far more superior Young Lion in New Japan. We'll see what happens further on. Next match, we have a 6-man tag team match. We got the Bullet Club, Yujiro Takahashi, Evil, and Jay White, along with Dick Togo and Geto, taking on Chaos members Tomohiro Ishii, Toru Yano, and Kazuchika Okada. As you know, Jay White targeted Tomohiro Ishii a few times 2 days ago. This time, Ishii wants a piece of him, so the whole match became more of a grudge match. Not to mention, Yoshihashi got hurt. We don't know how much of condition he will be, because we do know that Jay White wants to strip both, all 3 members of Chaos, Yoshihashi, Goto, and Ishii for their titles. The 6-man Never Openweight Championship, which don't know when that would happen. But however, it was Chaos who won the victory, but it did not end there. They continued to do a little beatdown, both Ishii and Goto, who was on commentary, to take out Jay White. So basically, you got 2/3 of the 6-man Never Openweights taking out Jay White. But Jay White just took his frustrations out on the Young Lions because they try to separate these guys, but they fail. But Jay White feels humiliated for the beatdown that Chaos brought upon him. Well, in interest of fairness, he deserved it because he attacked him for out of nowhere. Now, the next match, this rivalry has gone up the deep end. On one corner, we got Suzuki-gun, Doiki, El Desperado, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, Zack Sabre Jr., and Taichi taking on Bullet Club, El Phantasmo, Taiji Shimura Yato, Tangaloa, and Tama Tonga. As you know, Dangerous Tekkers want to reclaim what was taken from them. I'm talking about the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championships and the finger iron that Ichika left to Taichi. Now, for some odd reason, Tama brought like a little bag. I assumed it was the iron fingers. It wasn't. Taichi tried to get it back, and it was just a roll of paper with 4 fingers right there. Tama, who's being a jokester playing these mind games, he really got into Taichi's head. And not to mention, Zack Sabre Jr. has made a point several times that them losing the title 6 times is stupid of them. But we'll see how that goes. But the match was so insane. You wouldn't expect it. But it did end in Bullet Club winning the match. As you know, this rivalry between Suzuki-gun and both tag teams in their respective factions, like you got Kanemaru and Desperado, they're pointing out the fingers that El Fantasmo has something in his shoe. Phantasmo has already said it, there's nothing. He even took off his shoe. But however, what's in his shoe is what's important. So they're going to they want to expose that. And then we got Taichi and Zack Sabre Jr. Excuse me. You got Zack Sabre Jr. and Taichi. They want to reclaim what was taken from them. But the Guerrillas of Destiny, they're not going to just give it up without a fight. So we'll see what happens when that match comes around. Next match, we have Tomoaki Honma and Sho taking on LIJ's Tetsuya Naito and Hiromu Takahashi. Now, as you know, there's been also a bit of a rivalry between both these guys, with Sho, who is the #1 competitor for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, and as for Honma, he actually is becoming stronger, but Naito will not tolerate that. So it was more of an interesting grudge match, but however, Naito did it again by destroying the trophy for Honma. Now, I don't know what's his deal. He's being like a total jerk. But at least he won the match when he applied Destino on Honma. So, but when Hiromu found out, it was in fact Naito that tried to put the pin on someone else. So, that's how sneaky he is. In the main event, we got LIJ, Bushi, and Sanada taking on Master Wato and, of course, Kota Ibushi. As you know, these guys also are set in the face match in the New Beginnings events in Hiroshima. Bushi will put his titles on the line against Sanada. So this will become an interesting matchup. I can't wait to see it, but it was a great match. It did end it with Sanada picking up the victory. Of course, Wato knows he has to face Bushi soon, but Ibushi is still keeping his eyes out on Sanada because he knows he is not a competitor he should take easy on. Sanada has been close trying to get the titles, but the heavyweight title, but this time, who knows if he could get lucky. So I think that's it for now for New Japan. So let's talk about the recent news with AEW. Alright, for a few weeks we've been aware about AEW. In fact, are setting up for the AEW Women's Championship Eliminator. Basically, there was a presumption that we have Japanese wrestlers and American wrestlers facing off. The first match that they actually posted was the current NWA Women's Champion Serena Deeb taking on Riho. But now it's been revealed who in the Japanese side and the American side is in it. So let's review who's in it. In the Japanese sides, we got the return of Aja Kong, who we haven't seen since Fight for the Fallen. Yuka Sakazaki, Veni, who I'm not familiarized with, Emi Sakura, Ryu Misanumi, Mei Sugiura, Rin Kadokahura, I don't know who she is, and of course, Maki Ito. I'll review the Japanese side, so that way I can explain. And I don't need to explain more about the ones in the US side, but I'll tell you anyway. It's already been told. Serena Deeb. I don't know why they put her in the American side, but she's Japanese. I'm talking about Rio. It was beyond me. I don't know why. And the other competitors, we got Britt Baker, DMD, Tay Conti, Thunder Rosa, Nyla Rose, Anna Jay, and Layla Hirsch. So I have to say, Pretty good matchup for the American side. But however, let's talk mostly with the Japanese wrestlers involved in this. Now, if you guys aren't familiarized with Aja Kong, she is a legend in the entire wrestling business in Japan. She's been with various promotions, basically works as a freelancer, and she was Awesome Kong's mentor when she first arrived in Japan. Then you got the magical girl, Yuka Sakazaki. I've seen her on various occasions in Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. She was the top champion until she lost it to her dear friend. No one has seen her since she was in a match against Britt Baker when she made her lose her teeth. This is when Britt Baker embraced being a heel. Now, Venny, I'm still not familiarized with her. She's new, but I'm kind of very interesting to see what she can do. So basically, I will do research on her. I'm sure there should be some videos of her in YouTube, so I'll find out more. Emi Sakura, you may know who she is. If you guys don't know who she is, she was the founder of the Joshi promotion Ice Ribbon, and she also served as mentor to Ryo and Hikaru Shida. And of course, Emi Sakura left Ice Ribbons for personal reasons and formed her own promotion called Gato Move Pro Wrestling that normally operated out of Tokyo. They also have two different type of wrestling shows. One called Choco Pro, which is like a mat that goes in there. But Emi Sakura, great choice. I have to say they made the right choice to have her back. Ryo Mitsunami, if you guys aren't familiarized with her, she was part of the very first Double or Nothing 6-woman tag team match where she teamed up with Ryo and Hikaru Shida, taking on Aja Kong, Yuka Sakazaki, and Emi Sakura. But it's great to see her back. Can't wait to see what she's gonna do. Main Sugura, I've seen her many times in Got to Move. She is one of their top stars in that promotion with Emi Sakura. Rin Kadokura, don't know who she is. And I think the biggest surprise for me to see in this is Mako Ito. I have talked about her many times over. That she is also in Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling alongside Yuka Sakazaki. I didn't expect this. Now, some of you say, okay, if they're gonna have Japanese Joshi wrestlers in this tournament, how come there's none women involved in Stardom involved in this? Well, that is a good question, but you got to think clearly with Stardom. They are now a major promotion in Joshi wrestling. Basically, they're in the same level as New Japan, since Bushi Road, which is the company that owns New Japan, owns them. Now, I don't know how they feel about having their stars. As you know, Bea Priestley was with AEW, but she was released. But at the same time, she was still working with Stardom back and forth. So I don't know for sure if she'll ever return. I'm assuming the doors are still open. But here's the thing: I only known 6 out of the 8 competitors coming from the Japanese side. Now Aja Kong, I have to say, great choice. Same thing with Yuka Sakazaki, Emi Sakura, Ryo Mitsunami, Mei Shigura, and of course Mako Ito. Now these are competitors I have seen on various occasions. Now I'm not familiarized with Veni or Rin Kadokura. If I do find out more, I say I'll let you guys know what I think of them. But as the obvious question, you guys probably would say, why has Ryo been placed in the American side? Isn't she Japanese? True. I mean, the problem is, I don't know if for her, if she's taking up a permanent residence in the United States, like, what's her name? Hikaru Shida, she had to move from Japan to the US. She lives in Jacksonville since that is the main headquarters of AEW. I'm not sure if Ryo is considering moving there. You probably ask yourselves, where the hell was she the entire time when AEW was still doing? Well, Ryo was still in Japan. She made various appearances with her mentor's promotion, Got to Move Pro Wrestling. But recently, she has made a few appearances in Stardom even though she is not, how do I say, I don't know if she is signed with them, but I do know she does have an exclusive signing with AEW. But we may never know if Stardom will ever work with AEW, because I personally would love to see. I can see AEW working with any promotion, with the exception of WWE. Looks like we're seeing the doors are opening where WWE or really AEW wants to work with any promotion in the world. To me, that's a definite plus. But you guys let me know what you think of the Japanese wrestlers involved, the Japanese Joshi wrestlers involved in this Eliminator, because I think I find it interesting and it's very curious how this is going to go. Don't get me wrong, they're awesome wrestlers. 6 out of the 8 that I know of, 2 I'm still not familiarized. So I think that's about it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoy me reviewing Japanese wrestling for you guys, including talking mostly about the Japanese Joshi wrestlers involved in the AEW Women's World Championship Eliminator. So I'll see you guys the next time. Same DWZ time, DWZ channel. So I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang!